Hey guys, this year I'm going to be breaking down the Stargirl 303 promo titled The Blackmail, or Frenemies Chapter 3, The Blackmail. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the right down below, subscribe for new, notifications on. Let's watch this promo and continue with the video.
Attention Blue Valley shoppers. We have a Super Revenge special taking place in Aisle 7 and Aisle 8, plus Aisles 9, 10, and 11.
Wait, what?
So the promo opened up with Sylvester and the Crocks in a convenience store. They're pretty much the only ones there. Now, there's a intercom saying that there's going to be a super event going on in there, because they're going to be fighting, and then saying clean up aisles 9, 2, 4, 8, 7, 6, 10, 11, all the aisles, because it's going to be a mess. And I'm assuming that's the person there, because you can't tell me it sounds like a robot voice in a way. I don't know. It's different everywhere. It could be robotic, but you never know. If you were there, would you really want to stay there? If that was happening, I wouldn't. I'd be running. But nonetheless, Sylvester's there with the staff, again, with the Crocs in that store, and he's pissed off. Like, you can tell that. And he attacks them. They start fighting. The aisles get destroyed. And he blasts them out the windows of the store. And you can tell Court... We see a scene of Court. But even then, we know she doesn't even know what Sylvester's doing. She wouldn't put up with it. And then we see Sylvester blasting at them, but misses and blows up what was like a car. You can kind of see if you pause it exactly. There's like an old car, and it blows up. So, I'm assuming that's not his car. I'm assuming he flew there. Because he has a staff. Unless the staff likes to sit in the trunk. But I would assume the staff would fly him there. Whether it would want to or not. But yeah. It was a very interesting promo. It wasn't bad. It also wasn't amazing. I think it's going to continue what we're setting up throughout the season. Which is the fact that we're getting Sylvester here. And we have no idea what the hell's going on with him. Right? We're all suspecting him of the murder because it could very well be him. I mean, he's going after Shade, who was our ally last season and pretty much our ally this season. I mean, you know, he's good. Whether you want to admit it or not, he is. You know, Cindy, it could be her. She had the laptop, you know. Could be her. Not because of the gun thing. I think someone pointed this out during a reaction I was watching, that this could just not be one person. It could be all of them. It could be the Crocks, Cindy, and Shade. But like Shade said, if he was going to murder the gambler, he would have just gotten rid of it. He wouldn't have made such a big scene, right? He wouldn't have. Destroying that trailer, could it have been done by Shade? Yeah. I think he's the most powerful one in that group to do it. But, I mean, even then, what the hell? And for Sylvester, he would need the staff to do it. Now, the staff, if Court isn't there, it's not going to be called to anyone, right? So, but again, you have to consider the fact that what it looked like, Sylvester had no idea what happened until Court told them in the beginning of 302. And when they were filling in the scene in that. And also, Court arrived with the staff. So, it wasn't the case. So, Sylvester took it, killed the gambler, and then just disappeared. We also have to remember that there was a roar. Now, could that have been the Shade? Like, maybe, you know, I don't even know what the hell happened. I do think this is someone in Blue Valley, either that we haven't seen yet, or I don't know. There's so many things that this could be, and the episode was titled The Suspects. So, now this episode, like I said, is titled The Blackmail. And from the description that we got, which is very public knowledge, by the way, it's even in the promo itself, finding balance, Court and the JSA receive an anonymous tip that could help in their murder investigation. Meanwhile, after being told to find balance, Sylvester looks into potential jobs in Blue Valley while also trying to figure out who he is without his Starman identity. Now, this doesn't read too much into Sylvester and the Crocks, but I think considering the episode is literally titled The Blackmail, and throughout this entire promo of 20 to 30 seconds, we had all of it, like 90% of it, being Sylvester and the Crocks fighting. So I wonder if Sylvester tries to blackmail the Crocks. Because I think we're going to learn that they know something. I think Court and the JSA will learn that they know something went down. And maybe they know who did it. Because obviously something happened with the Crocks, right? With Larry telling Paula that they're going to find out eventually, literally quoting what he said at the end of 302. And then Paula just kicking a weight bag into a wall. You can't tell me something didn't happen there. And it makes them really high suspects here for not only the murder, but what something else happened in Blue Valley that we don't know about yet. Like, there's so many things that seem to be unraveling right now that we don't know about. Like, and that's not a bad thing. It's a murder mystery for a reason. But nonetheless, I mean, what are we dealing with here? Like, what are we really truly dealing with? Are we dealing with Sylvester blackmailing the Crocks as they find something out? There's 100% going to be blackmail. And I do think it's going to be Sylvester blackmailing the Crocks. If it's not that, the only person who would really blackmail someone would arguably be Yolanda blackmailing Cindy. If you really think about it, I mean, that's the only other outcome for blackmail I can see. Court and Beth would not do that. Pat definitely wouldn't. And Rick, I mean, yeah, he has enemies on some level, but it's not like Yolanda and Cindy, where Yolanda is literally trying to convince everyone that Cindy did it. So, I don't think that it's really fair to say that the blackmail will come from Court, Beth, Rick, or Pat, or Barbara. I think what it'll come from is either from Sylvester, which is the most likely option, or Yolanda. And Yolanda's a small percentage of a chance. I'd be surprised if she did, because then Court would find out, and there would most definitely be a fight there. But I do think we're going to learn more about Sylvester's arc here, because it is something. We don't know what, but it's something, right? Like, we're all going back and forth on what the hell Sylvester is going on. Right? What's going on with him? Because one moment, he's this nice guy with Court, with Pat, with the other JSA members. And then he's around the former ISA members like Shade or the Crocks or Cindy sometimes. And especially around the Shade, he's just a completely different person. Right? You can say that's the hero that he was. That all the people he lost, they remind him of that. Sure, but that doesn't cause you to try to murder someone or to attack innocent people, at this point, innocent. You know, I mean, Sylvester's been gone for God knows how many years, right? He said he woke up in his grave. He had to bury himself out. And he said it was because of the staff. And it was because Court's connection to the staff that Sylvester woke up. Which we learned at the end of season 1. Sylvester was alive at the end of season 1. He appeared. It was that cliffhanger that didn't really get picked up until the end of season 2. And now here we are. So this isn't just a storyline that started this season. This is a storyline that's been going on pretty much for the last 3 seasons, including this one. We're on season 3, so past 3 seasons. That's what we're dealing with here. This is a big story. And it's really not getting any more... it's not getting us answers, you know? The only answer we have right now is Sylvester's story, is how the hell he's back, which is by waking up in his gravestone somehow. And supposedly, we don't know this for sure, it's because Court's connection to staff, which Sylvester does not like that, clearly, because he and Court made an agreement and he's not sticking to it. He broke it twice now. So you can't tell me that Sylvester doesn't have his own play here. And, like, you just can't. Like, he has his own play. Like, we should know that by now. What it is, we're not going to find out. Maybe this episode, we'll find out. Whatever, I don't know. There's like 20 different stories going as a cinema review, where we have the main story, which is Gambler's murder. Now, I was expecting to be more than one murder. There probably won't be. I do think it's someone in the ISA. I don't think it's someone new. As in, I don't think it's Mr. Bones. I don't think it's, I don't know. But, we're going to be digging deep into this, because right now we have 10 episodes left. After 303. We have 10 episodes left. So, like, this is what happens when you have a short season. But it works for the story. They make it work. And we have a two-parter in 307 and 308. We figure out, who the murderer is in 310. At least, I'm assuming Court does, and the JSA. So I think undoubtedly, maybe by 307 or even 306, we'll learn who the hell this killer is. And 306, and the reason why I say 306, is titled The Betrayal. So I'm wondering if it is Sylvester based off that title. Or Sylvester loses his mind again and, he's just going to be going down the toilet. I don't think... I don't know where they could go with Sylvester after this season, assuming he comes back, because he could be the murderer, but what are they going to do? Right? That's the thing with this show, that they brought themselves into a loophole with. There's no place they can put these villains at. Right? That's why the Crocks are kicking around. That's why Shade is still kicking around. It's not like The Flash or Arrow or Supergirl or Legends even or Batwoman, where we have prisons. Right? In the cities. This is a small town. So the writers of the show dug themselves into a corner where either you kill the villain off or you make him serve a quote-unquote penance of being good. Like, that's the hole they dug themselves into. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but it worked out for the first episodes of the season, right? Clearly, because it's setting up the story. But again, the problem here is that there's no prison. If there was, the gambler wouldn't have died, right? He would be alive, most likely. The Crocks would be in prison. Shade would most likely be in prison for what he's done. Maybe he won it. I don't know if the season 2 storyline was still played out, but let's assume he was. Sylvester would have come back. He wouldn't have attacked Shade. He wouldn't have made a scene in that diner. He wouldn't be going after the Crocks in 303 in the promo that we saw. There's so many stories that wouldn't be happening if there was a prison. So you can say for writing purposes, it worked out great. But for logical reasons, writing the show in a small town with 0 prisons, even if there was a prison, no prison could hold Cindy. No prison could hold Shade, right? They don't have the technology that, like, Flash has, like, Art or Barry has, on Earth Prime, or Kara, or Oliver, or, whoever. They don't have Argus. They don't have Star Labs. They don't have, a Speed Force prison anymore without Jay. So they can't just throw speedsters. They can't just throw villains into a prison cell and say, oh yeah, you're done. No, they're going to break out. You can't take away their powers. They don't know how to. So, again, they brought themselves into a hole that ended up working for the season. And I'm not hating on that. I'm glad it's working for them. But again, you have to look at the facts here, and the fact is, what are they going to do with the murderer? We had to turn Eclipso into burnt toast. Like, literally. They turned him into burnt toast. Eclipso. An all-powerful, mighty god that killed a child twice and nearly killed Courtney and everyone else. They just turned him into toast. Literal toast. I mean, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, are we just gonna talk to the murderer and say, oh yeah, you're good. We forgive you. Like, if you really think about it, it should make you worried about what the hell we're gonna do with this murderer. I don't want to read too much into it, but when you really think about it, the two villains we've had on this show, the ISA, which the ones who aren't alive, the only way they got defeated was because they died. Yolanda killed Brainwave, right? Grundy turned good after Rick let him go and then died in season 2 to the Eclipso. The Crocks turned good somehow, some way, supposedly. They're living here. Shade worked with Courtney in season 2. Now he's working, well, he's somewhat working on it, but he's on the good side. So all the ISA members that were attacking the JSA, the new ones, are either dead or quote-unquote good. And the kids, like Cameron and Cindy, they don't know about Cameron. And Cindy, what can you do with her? As Yolanda literally said, she is a science experiment. Like, whatever you put her in, she will break out of it. You can put her at the bottom of the earth and she will somehow, some way get out of it. Like, she could have super strength. She could heal fast. She has that drug thing that she's been taking. That, thank you to the person who pointed out, could be healing her. So, what the hell? Like, either we kill the murderer, or we turn him into toast again, or we just let him walk. And this is a murderer. Like, the ISA is murderers, and they're still walking free. Earth 2 is all kinds of screwed up, ain't it? I mean, look, there's no really possible way they can do differently with Stargirl. There's not. Like, the show in general. Like, they could place it in a bigger city, but it wouldn't work. Because Stargirl works so well because it's in a small town. We aren't dealing with a massive city like Barry or Clark or Kara or Alva we're dealing with. We're dealing with Courtney and her family. Reminder, Courtney's a teenager with superhero powers because of a magical staff fighting crime at night and sometimes during the day in a small town. If it was a big city, like Central City, Star City, Metropolis, Keystone, that would be way too much for a teenager to even handle. So, I understand why they're in a small town. I'm not hating on it. My point is, by not having a secure prison, whether it's near Blue Valley or like in an offshore location where only Stargirl or Starman or Pat or Stripe could get to put their villains in, like Oliver had on Leanne Neal for Slade, and whoever else put there, Captain Boomerang, like Barry has with Star Labs or Iron Heights now. Like, they had locations away from the city to protect the people. They don't have that here. They got lucky that it was a villain and not some random innocent person that died, right? Because this murderer, whoever the hell it is, or whoever it is, or whatever, could kill again. It could be an innocent person, and it would happen because they didn't put away these villains. If it is one of them, or all of them. It could be Cindy, Cameron, maybe not Cameron, 50-50 on Cameron. It could be Cindy, the Crocks, Shade, it could be all 4 of them. It could be Sylvester. What are you going to do with him? If it's Sylvester, what the hell will Court even do? You can take the staff. Like, that's going to be a whole thing for Courtney and Pat. Because then they have to fight him. But then you fight him and you supposedly win. What the hell are you going to do? You can't put him away. You can't lock him up. You most likely won't kill him. Unless he's already dead. I mean, there's no logical way to solve these problems. You can't. You either kill him or you turn him to toast. Or you let him walk and hope for God that they be good people. But even then, it's 50-50. So, I'm not trying to dig into the show. I love this show. I've said that several times. But there are loopholes here. And you can't tell me Pat, of all people, Pat, will not bring up eventually, we should make a prison that's offshore, like miles, hundreds of miles away from this town. Just put the villains in, right? They could cuff them, knock them out, fly them out to the prison, make sure they're in there for the rest of their lives. If they need to see them, they can fly out there and see them. Court, Pat, they can both fly. Why can't they do that? I'm sure there's an abandoned prison somewhere on that damn Earth that can hold them. You know what I mean? Like, find the Earth 2 version of Leanne Yu that has a Argus person on it. Like, do that. You can't tell me this Earth does not have Argus. I mean, Argus is literally everywhere. Okay? It's not something on Lois' world, for crying out loud. Why can't it be on Stargirl's world? Right? Like, we don't know what the hell is on Earth 2 right now, besides Stargirl. And if there are these villains here, like Jay, which undoubtedly leads to more speedster villains on this Earth, which would cause more higher up security prisons, why don't you put our villains there? Leave them there. That way they're away from people. They don't, if they do happen to break out, they don't attack anyone right away. Instead of just letting them walk. That's a better option. So I could not stop thinking about that until someone brought it up, and now I hate that that person brought it up. Because I basically spent the past 5-10 minutes talking about that. Again, I love this show. I really do. But you have to look at the facts, and the fact is, what are they going to do here? I mean, they let the ISA walk, most of them. They turn it closer to toast. Literal toast. We have a new villain, possibly. We have Mr. Bones that's going to be wrapped up soon. What the hell is going to happen there? You know what I mean? He was seized at the end of season 2. Breck Bassinger, who plays Court, said that he would be wrapped up in the first few episodes. This could be that episode where Mr. Bones gets wrapped up. Or 304 or 305. It'll definitely probably be before 307 or 308. Or maybe 309 even. But what the hell? What are they going to do with him? Just let him walk? This is the problem with the show. The one problem this show has is your villains. After you defeat them. Again, you let them walk, you kill them, or you turn them to toast. Those are the 3 options they have. And when you let a villain walk like the Crocks, they did something. Cindy did something. She has that laptop. She knows Court and the others are looking for that laptop, and she does not care. So, what the hell? Like, they're up to no good. This wouldn't be happening if there was a prison nearby, is my point. I love this show, but there's some inconsistency here with the villains after they defeat them. The villains are great. They're written amazingly. But make it so they can't keep coming back after they've murdered people. Like, just don't. Do something else, you know? Like I said, find Leanne Yu's Earth 2 counterpart. You know, find Argus, right? Bring Argus into this. You can't tell me Argus is not an Earth 2, right? You can't tell me that. I don't care. I know it's not the same Earth 2 as pre-Crisis, But you can't tell me these Earths have not had to deal with superpower beings before and it created Argus. You can't tell me that. That's not even, like, what the hell moment. Like, I don't know. But they should figure out something, hopefully before the show ends, season 4, season 5, or whatever, where we put these villains at. It would be nice. Because, again, we can't put them in the Speed Force. We can't put them in, you know, a realm, because they'll just get out eventually. I mean, it's nowhere. So, yeah. Who knows? Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.